everyone. I hope you liked that intro there. You can always use a psalm per day. So anyhow, this video will be about how I began to work alongside monks, or let's see what the title I put for the article was, How I Began to Work Alongside Monks. That's better than whatever I just said. So the subtitle, Work Can Be Prayer. That's what the Latin phrase, ora et labora. That's my best Latin pronunciation. That's what that means. So yeah, we're just going to look through this article. I wrote it last February, so I'm a writer on medium.com for those who are interested in reading some of my articles. I don't write much at all anymore, for better or for worse. I just don't really have the time. Anyhow, I'm hoping to get back into writing, back into just sitting down, taking the time to do things that aren't related to this website I've been designing. 'Cause I've been designing this website for the last week now. And I don't want to spoil the big surprises, but we're going to have a forum, a marketplace, articles, videos, podcasts, you name it. It's going to be the biggest Catholic website of the century so far. Bigger than Catholic Answers even. So yeah, you can scramble on over to there. It's not completed. It'll take a few more days to complete that. I'll make a big promotional campaign whenever that's done. It'll be done in 2 days, so be on the lookout for that. In the meantime, I'll just read this article. So let me get the article up on my screen so that I can actually read it. Here we are. Apologies for the technical difficulties. I'll make it a little bigger for everyone. Okay, so yeah, Catholicism for the Modern World on Medium. That's the biggest Catholic blog publication in the world. I just realized that like 2 days ago. Medium.com is one of the biggest blog sites in the world. 3 times bigger than Substack. A lot of people don't realize that. 3 times as many viewers per month. But anyhow, that's where it all started. We started as a writing group. I started as a solo writer. So yeah, that influence has always stayed with the company, and it'll continue to stay with it. But yeah, I was realizing that the other day. I was like, the biggest publication on Substack has like 30 writers. We have like 115. Not to brag or anything, and I'm grateful for all the people that write for that publication. I don't even work on it anymore. Somebody else runs it, Jonathan Bernos. You've seen him on the show, The Catholic Revert. He's the president, I guess you could say, of that publication. There's another vice president. There's other editors. I just don't have the time to take care of that publication anymore, which is kind of sad. It's that's where it all started out, and my time shifted to the website, shifted to the podcast. So yeah, it's good to find people who can take control of things and run them while I'm gone. It was a chaotic place for a few months. Anyhow, this elongated intro has been all over the place, and it's only been 3 minutes here, so we better start the article. We'll wait till the 4-minute mark. All right, here we are. So yeah, you see the monastery. Very beautiful monastery in the woods of Kentucky, in the farmlands of Kentucky. A few minutes away from Bardstown, the bourbon capital of the world. 20 minutes away from Hodgenville, where Abraham Lincoln was born, and where I reside, where I'm at right now. There's not much else around here, but Thomas Merton said it was the heart of America. He wrote that in the 7-Story Mountain last century. He's one of the biggest Catholic writers of last century. One of the most well-known monk since Martin Luther. So that's quite an accomplishment, I think, or perhaps not an accomplishment, depending on how you view that. So anyhow, that's how I started the article. On December 10th, 1941, Thomas Merton entered the Abbey of Gethsemani as a novice. A few days later, after graduating college last December, I entered the same monastery as a worker. So how did this happen? Well, what sparked this change of explosive direction in my future? Not why, what? Here's my brother calling me. Let me decline that call just for a moment. Anyhow, what sparked this change of explosive direction in my future? Why did I forsake my years of education? So yeah, I'll clarify a bit more. I was in community college up until last December. I was there for about a year and a half. I got a degree called electronics and engineering, or flip that around, engineering and electronics. That sounds better. That's what it was actually called. I kind of did it for the money. That's why I chose it. And if I went back to college now, I'd get something in theology, history, something along those lines. But back then, I was like, I didn't believe I could do history as a full-time job. I didn't want to end up as a history teacher. But now, I would love to be a history teacher. Anything related to thinking, because I'm a thinker, not an engineer. No, I'm not a math person. And I guess I was a writer back then, and I kind of always planned to make writing a big side income, being a published author and all of that. But I took inspiration from Fyodor Dostoevsky. He was also an engineer, so I was like, if he can do it, I can do it. But anyhow, I graduated. I didn't put much thought into what was going to happen after graduation. I just expected to have a good job, working as a maintenance worker, doing something electrical, making a lot of money. I do recommend anyone, if they're interested in money, go to community college. You can make a lot of money, get out faster than you would going to university. However, it wasn't fulfilling for me, so I think I posted a video a few weeks ago about, it was me and a few others talking to Charles Columb, the famous Catholic historian. So he said, he was talking about how sometimes people's ideas blow up in their own faces. And I made a joke when he said that. I pointed at myself. Yeah, so I'll point at myself again. That idea of me making $80,000 a year starting out, it could have happened. However, it wasn't fulfilling for me. So that idea of just going to school for money, it didn't work out in the end. So yeah, that's kind of how, that's one of the reasons I ended up at the monastery, but you'll see the full details. So, yeah, I must begin when I first felt the tension. I was working at a factory that prints magazines. So that was my first job out of college. It was 2 weeks before college ended. I took the job, the first place that would hire me, a magazine factory. As exciting as that sounds, it was not the most exciting job. However, it did pay well. It was a full-time career, benefits, all that. I could have retired there, but I wouldn't have lived a good life. I don't think I would have been miserable the entire time. I was miserable that week. It was exhausting. The noise, the chaos, the dimly lit factory. Nobody wanted to be there. Not many people wanted to be there. There were a few guys, of course. A lot of the people they just hire in, they're just there for the money, so they don't actually enjoy it. And they'll tell you that the second day you're there. So yes, it wasn't the best place, and we'll just spoil the story. So the symbolism, the parallel of that is that I was working at a noisy factory, so noisy that I would have had damage to my hearing, and that was one of the things that I just couldn't stand. That knowing that my hearing would be damaged, you had to wear these earplugs, and you still couldn't hear anyone talk. Another maintenance guy would try to talk to you. You literally had to put your ear up against his mouth, basically, and you still couldn't hear him. And he was screaming, he was shouting, you couldn't hear him. It was that noisy. So anyhow, it was, yeah, what was I going to say? So yeah, I started at this factory, the loudest factory on earth, and I go to a Trappist monastery, a place known for its silence. That's what the Trappist branch of the monastic life, that's what they're known for, silence. Of course, they talk outside of the monastery, but inside the monastery, they're not allowed to talk. So anyhow, so yeah, I wrote Fyodor Dostoevsky was an engineer as well as a writer. So both can be done simultaneously. That is true. Yet to reconcile the artistic aspect of my personality concerned with ideas in the spiritual and the exhausting, brute, almost dehumanizing work of a factory seemed an impossibility. And that is very true. I've already talked about that. I just talked about that. So a few days after starting this new job, I was talking with my priest. So I was an RCIA at the time. Father Carr, he was on this podcast 2 months ago, I believe. We were talking, and so I was like, I don't like this job. It was my last week of RCIA, my last week of college, I think. I was like, I was kind of content to do the job then. But then he was like, we started talking about him taking retreats at the Abbey of Gethsemani. And so he said, like, I was like, I want to take a retreat there. And so he's like encouraging me to do that. And he was like, hey, they also might be hiring people. A lot of the monks are getting older, dying off. They might need some maintenance help. It's a big place. They can use it. So he said just to call up there. So yeah, I didn't do that immediately. I really didn't put much thought into it. I didn't believe him almost. It would have been nice, but I was still, I was looking at a water treatment plant. So I was like, that's a quiet place. A bit of outdoor, indoor work. So it would have been enjoyable. I think I still would enjoy that. However, life took a few twists and turns where I'll probably never go back to that type of work again. If anything, I'll go back to college. So that water treatment plant, they just declined me. That was providential, really. It was a grace from God. At the time, I already started working at the monastery. I was working at the monastery for like a day, and that's when I got the email that they weren't going to hire me, and so it wasn't disappointing at all. I was like, God willed it. So, let me actually read the article. It's been a while since I read the article. I'm going to read only the important parts. So yeah, the water treatment plant. I called the monastery. The monk told me a few days later that they didn't have any full-time jobs available at the moment, but that I could take part-time work if I desired. So that next day, I went in for a quasi-interview. It wasn't an interview at all. It was me literally just walking in there, shaking the monk's hand, him showing me around, taking me up to the accountant area to sign the papers. So I was hired on the spot. And yeah, the day after that, the water treatment plant declined me for a providential reason. And so it was. I would work with the monks or not at all. So kind of my other options ran out in a good way. I realized that the maintenance job wouldn't have been for me. The water treatment plant, which I was kind of aiming for, even then, it just declined me. There were a lot of people that declined me. There was a job fair back in that October. I went to that. And I really stood out just because I brought resumes. No one else was bringing resumes. And I didn't really dress up nice back then. If I could do it over again, I'd wear a tie. But I just wore like a nice shirt. It didn't have a collar. I wore nice brown shoes. I didn't wear tennis shoes. So even just doing that, I was dressed better than 95% of the people there. So a lot of these people were all over me, these employers. There was a Toyota factory, a new steel plant that was opening up. And the steel guy was like, if you come to work for us, I'm going to give you the keys to this plant and you can do whatever you want with it. It'll be yours. You'll run it. So it turns out that they weren't hiring people straight out of college. You had to have 2 years of experience. So Toyota plant, likewise, I went in for an interview, and that was a hard interview. They were asking me questions, like math questions. They would like just pull out a piece of paper and like write down an electrical circuit, and you had to answer questions about that. They didn't even call me back. I think I did okay, but a lot of those jobs just, they acted like they wanted me. They were like, come do an interview, come give us a call. But it was really only that they all didn't hire me. None of them gave me a job offer, just that place that prints magazines. So I'm thankful for that. God bless that man for giving me a chance there. And it's kind of sad that I had to leave there after a week. It was that weekend. I called them. I was like, I can't work here anymore. So, yeah, I did kind of let them down by leaving like that, but it's just so exhausting. It was better to break it off quickly. So anyhow, I'm still working at the Monks right now. It's May 15th. So I've been there quite a bit now. I started working last December, I said. So yeah, really just working. I'm working part-time at the monastery. I've never actually done any maintenance work either. They kind of hinted that I'd be doing some maintenance work, but that I'd be starting out in the fudge department. So I'm still in the fudge department, and I actually like it. I don't think if they offered to give me maintenance work that I would take it, because I just don't really I don't enjoy that work. I don't mind it doing maintenance work, but I'm just not a math person, not really a technical person. So I gave up a lot of money by entering this line of work. I gave up benefits and many other apparent things, but I also gained many things, of which one day I will realize. So you just see the writer and me just making up these phrases that really don't mean anything. But anyhow, I'll talk about this in another video. This video is already pretty long. What's it like to work with monks? So I'll just briefly say, in case you don't want to watch another video from me. The atmosphere is generally one of community. There's no boss looking down your shoulder. So yeah, you don't even sign in or anything. Of course, you have a time card, but like no one's looking to make sure you write down the exact time or whatever. It's like a really human job. There's of course no one like just reprimanding you, no boss looking down your shoulder. Many of the monks are almost in disguise, appearing not to be monks, but average men. So yeah, that was one of the big things. I'll save this for the next video, but that was one of the big surprises, just how human these people were. I'll also give away a secret surprise. I'm going to be going over my conversion story in probably a 5-part series, and that'll be starting this weekend, I believe. It'll just be like a series of videos like this one, not really edited or anything. But yeah, so I'll talk. I forget what I was saying. I forgot what I said. But yeah, the monastery, that's what I said. The monastery actually played a big part in my conversion before I started working there. So I'll save that for the video. So be on the lookout for that. Yeah, one of the big surprises. Some of the monks had tattoos on their arms. Only one, I believe. But like a lot of them were just normal people. It was during the Christmas season then, so that's the most busiest time of the year. And I was working a lot in the shipping area. There's probably 20 monks in that shipping area all day. And I was doing like factory work. It was almost like I was working at UPS or something, packaging boxes, shipping them out. So I was also folding fudge boxes. It's honorable work. Anyhow, the work is meditative in nature, preparing fudge and fruitcake, packaging these, shipping them, cleaning out old buildings built in the 70s, driving around the massive monastery on a golf cart. not actually driving around the monastery, but driving around the outside of the monastery. I do have a couple good memories doing that. Just going to pick up more boxes. It was during the winter, and there was a lot of snow on the ground. So one of the monks said, "You can't take the golf cart. You have to take the big Kubota, this big four-wheel. I don't know what the proper name for it is, but a Kubota." And it was very loud, diesel, runs on diesel, and so that was fun. Just me riding around the monastery. Yeah, cleaning out the buildings is always fun. Like sometimes you'll have a little downtime, so it'll just be me going into a building built in the 1900s. They used to house pigs or something. It's like 3 stories tall. So I'm just roaming around this warehouse type building. It can be scary, I guess, if you hear a random noise or a bat. But yeah, it's an enjoyable job. It has like an adventure to it. You're just working at a monastery. Of course, you become familiar with it, but still, just the specialness of it. Like sometimes you'll be walking back to your car and you just look around. You see this huge monastery, lots of beautiful trees and things along those lines. So yeah, it's very human work. Taking up random conversations with the monks. So yeah, you can talk a lot about like just Catholicism and theology and history and all of those fun things that you wouldn't be able to talk about with people at a factory. So that's also enjoyable. So yeah, accepting the call of duty whenever you're outside, bearing the rain, the cold winds, and snow to fulfill your work. So yeah, that's what it means. Ora et labora, prayer and work. There's a lot of work. Not many people work harder than monks. That's really the entire thing. Like you're giving the mind a rest to exhaust the body, because by doing that you keep yourself away from temptation. And really work can be a prayer, because a lot of the work is meditative. You can pray while you're working, and I don't pray as much as I should while I work. My thoughts just go all over the place. However, like just the work itself is really meditative, contemplative. So yeah, it's a human place to work, and there's not many of those around nowadays. So that's why I started working there, and that's why I'm still there. I don't know how much longer I'll be there. Who knows? It might be a full-time career for the rest of my life. Michael Snellen, the lay Cistercian, as they call me. Maybe one day I'll become a monk. That'd be really funny. That'd make a really good YouTube video, a good twist in the story. So, yeah, it's a really good place to work. Yeah, that's all I'll say. So, tune in for the other videos that will be coming out. We'll roll a quick ad if you want to warm your feet. We just got an affiliate sponsorship with sockreligious.com. Let me roll that again. See Pope Francis socks. They have lots of other socks. Saints. They have tons of saints on their socks. They have gifts for like children and stuff, like those, what are they called, onesies that babies wear. Lots of stuff like that. A really good website, a really good store. It's the biggest Catholic sock store in the world. So yeah, if you buy something on there, just use the link in the bio, the link in the description, not in the bio, the description. I'll put it in the comments section as well. If you purchase something on their site, we get 10%. So that helps support the show. So in a way, go buy socks and you'll support the show. Cheaper than a cup of coffee. So thank you everyone for tuning in, and may God bless you.